YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back in the building for another Last Cloudia news and information video. You can see the title of this one. Introducing Nero the Young Knight, Devil May Cry series collab unit. We have the info that dropped earlier today. Shout out to the collab traffic, 2,000 views already for this game and a unit reveal day one. People are hyped and anticipating this unit. Let's dive into his kit, give you my thoughts, see what you guys think in the comments, and make our initial judgments now. There is young Nero. Streak is 8 hits, High Roller is 12 hits, Red Queen combo is a very long 18 hits. We have Buster looking like a single wheeled special. At 36 hits, goes up to 41 and 42. Moving into the traits, we have the first one, Exceed. Randomly boost skill damage plus 1% to plus 100% and damage cap plus 1 to 20,000. That's pretty comical right off the bat. Boost lower limit based on combo hit count. Max damage plus 50%. And damage cap plus 10,000 at 100 hits or more. When Devil Trigger buff is active, double the effect. So what is this saying? I know it took me a couple reads to figure out what this meant and discussing with Tweaks and seeing some other community members talk about it. So the first sentence is pretty standard. His damage cap is immediately going to range from plus 1 to 20,000. And we have that damage modifier as well. The second sentence, boost lower limit. So when it says that, we're looking at the plus 1% and the plus 1 based on combo hit count. So what that's telling us is, depending on the hit count, that 1% and plus 1 can range to 50% and 10,000. So to think of it simply, at 100 hit combo, his range is now 10,000 to 20,000 at 100 hits. When this Devil Trigger buff is active, you double all of those numbers. So now he has a range at 100 hits, keep that in mind, of 20,000 to 40,000 cap and 100% to 200% damage. Okay, so hopefully that provided a little bit of clarity with what that's trying to say. His trait 2, Demonic Arm, special damage cap has 15,000. After special, boost HP cap 50%, restore HP, and give the Devil Trigger buff. Devil Trigger buff active, physical magic damage taken minus 30%. When using a skill can't be interrupted by most attacks. You give that Devil Trigger buff up to once per wave. This is sounding very much like the DANTE that could have been. So, gets these buffs after his special is used. We know that using his special is a way to trigger this Devil Trigger buff and a very weird rangy cap based on hit count, but I think it will look a lot better in game than I think it sounds on paper, at least in my head. Looking at the abilities, the skill 1 streak instantly closed the gap for a medium area fire combo attack. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, my guess is that his S1 is going to be the most fun skill. It looked like those 8 hits were pretty quick, and if his S1 is the gap closer, I'm thinking of OG Alice, that S1 having the most stocks, being the most spammable. You're going to have this Nero jumping all over the screen, and it's going to feel really cool. Skill 2 is High Roller, medium area fire combo attack that launches enemies into the air, so still sticking with his little knock enemies up gimmick. Skill 3, Red Queen combo, just a frontal medium area fire combo attack. And by the looks of it, you're going to want that super armor when you're launching off those S3s. His special, Buster, powerful fire combo attack to one enemy, and that final hit has a damage cap of plus 100,000. So a 42 hit special is not the craziest that we've seen nowadays, but with his different caps, we'll hopefully see something pretty special, or at least significant. Moving into the ability board, we have the first skill, Demon Form. Use all MP to give unit the Devil Trigger buff, and again that's once per wave. So nice that we do have 2 ways to activate this Devil Trigger. It's not completely reliant on the special like Virgil's SDT is. but we can actually give this new Nero here the double trigger buff with this skill using all of the MP. So kind of a dual way to activate this, but you can only activate this once. So I imagine it will be either that 30 or 40 second buff similar to Virgil has, and once per wave now. So instead of Doppelganger, how that's once per quest, you can at least have this double trigger pop off once per wave. D-side or Dayside, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. Give physical attacks and special an anti-god type effect. Anti-type effect damage cap plus 2000. So that's a really interesting skill. Not mad at it at all. That's the first Slayer we're going to see. Side roll boosts his movement speed, and when taking long range physical attacks, chance to nullify the damage taken. Going to be interesting. There's going to be a certain range that determines if he can nullify damage, but all I'm hearing right now is Arena. And we know I love my movement speed, so like to see those kinds of skills. Kyrie's Deliverance. Critical damage taken, minus 15%. Thanks, die card. And anti-type attack damage taken, minus 15%. So again, Arena. Ring, ring, ring. Fire Enhance gives fire attack damage 10%, but also special damage plus 35%. That seems like a very large multiplier for special damage for the first Enhance fire ability. So very interesting. We're seeing that for the first time, and it's getting such a massive special damage multiplier. Not mad at it. And then Awaken 2 we're finally seeing after all these years. When close to death, very greatly restore HP, increase movement speed, and STR defense and MND plus 65%. That is no small number. I talk about how stats are not the craziest thing to focus on when you're looking at unit builds, but when you're talking 30, 50, 65% increases to those stats, you do see very significant changes in performance. So, not mad. I like it. I want it teachable. HP up max, Fighting Spirit 5, Heroism up 2, Critical up 2, Aim Vitals, Royal Armor, he does have Special Boost, Auto Brave, Auto Protection, Life Fort, Pose of Victory, Patience 2, has Dual Wield innately, Sword Boost, and Sword Mega Boost, Fire High Drive, Fire Mega Drive, Fire Attack Raise 3. Soldier Mastery technically counts as Sniper anti-damage if I'm not mistaken, with some other benefits. Combo Master 2, he does have Brute Slayer. So with Brute Slayer, Soldier Mastery, and D-side or Dayside, you're looking at a nice little 8 typing coverage for anti-damage. God Blade, I don't know what that does. Plus 30% physical damage against undead spirit and god type enemies. So this was previously just on Blaze Blade Shin. Wow, this is pretty dope. This is pretty dope. I'm not mad at it. Dude's getting multipliers to typings all over the place. Sharp Eyes he has innately. Piercing as well. Skill Charge 1, that's really cool. And Goddess Kiss. Yeah, okay. We've got a little special unit. While he is locked to the fire type, of course, he has dual wield. It sounds like Trishula is going to be this guy's best friend. And, I mean, I'm just hearing, like, a troll from Adis right now. This is what DANTE should have been, and they made young Nero the upgrade to DANTE for some reason. Instead of, this should have been DANTE's shift, and it should have been young DANTE. I'm so perplexed right now. It's actually hilarious, but that's the kit we're getting. I think he's going to be very fun. I think he's going to be very fun reading through this, kind of probably the second or third time I've looked. But yeah, let's move on to the Ark. The second LR Ark we're getting is Devil May Cry 5, the Ark trait. For 7 seconds after using a skill, give a skill damage plus 40% buff one time, excluding previously used skill. Damage from beasts, creatures, undead, and spirit types minus 10%. And at the battle start, auto-cast Grand Brave and Grand Fort. So that's going to be 35% to STR and defense for 40 seconds. But what a weird trait. So for 7 seconds after using a skill, you get damage boosts to your other skills. So like if I use my S1, the S2 and S3 are going to have this 40% boost for 7 seconds. Oh, I just had a little sneezing fit. I mean, 40% is not a small modifier. That is very significant. It can be useful for combos if you're really lacking skills to hit that damage cap, but just a very weird way it's structured. I'm not a huge fan of what I'm reading right off the bat. Learnable skills. Time to kick some ass. Battle start. Give physical attack damage plus 20% buff. Not the biggest fan of that because for one, battle start means it's temporary, looking at probably 40 seconds. And the give physical attack damage plus 20% buff sounds like the generic buff that units like Tinkili can give as support, or any other items that say that they boost physical attack damage. And one of the key things to know about Last Cloudia is buffs that have the same icon when you're looking at the in-battle buff icons do not stack on top of each other. It's just that the highest one will usurp the lower tier ones. So let's say you had a 10% physical damage boost and then you put this on someone, this 20% would just take over and last the duration that it lasts. So I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm reading here because there's many other ways to achieve this and usually not worth running this. I'd say be better to use SC on something else and then run your support character or possibly the item that can provide this, supplement this buff. So gotta see what the SC cost is, but we'll see tomorrow. Shadow armor, continuous shadow wall effect to unit. That'll be a continuous light damage minus 20%. So nice that that will be teachable, but nothing super exciting. Giant shield is giving a minus 10% to damage from bosses. So again, some more damage mitigation, which is okay. Creature Buster, I am just not a fan of these Buster skills at all, but it seems like that this is the new wave of anti-damage that they're pushing. We just got over our little geyser phase. We got a bunch of geysers, which we still need more of. However, it seems like they're putting busters on a lot of arcs nowadays, which is physical attack specials and counter getting that anti-damage. But it's like 12 SC per buster, and it's just very rare that you can utilize all three of those things at the same time. So spending 12 SC to get the effects of essentially one of those, if maybe two, is just not what I'm looking for. Brave and Sky High also. So they just went full on with making these tier 1 teachables like Brave, and then the last part 1 was critical. Really hate to see that. Sky High, this is going to be like this third arc that we get it as a teachable skill from. I'm not impressed with this arc so far, if I'm being honest. And looking at the AER, it's Gold Orb, a 6-star accessory. Trait, when HP hits 0, auto revive and recover HP half once per wave. That's actually one of the better revive accessories that we have, mainly because of that recover half of HP when reviving. Usually when you auto revive off of one of these items, it starts you off at 10 HP. So if you auto revive into an enemy's combo, that 10 HP usually gets wiped and you're just dead again. So the half HP will help with that revive function. So always good to get more sources of revive stacks because they do stack, right? If you have this plus decoy plus an auto revive buff from one of your support units, you have 3 revives in the battle. But it's nothing that gets me super excited. I like to focus on strategies that don't involve a lot of dying. Nice to have, but again, definitely does not like scream chaseable or super duper desirable to me at the moment. Bullseye! And Last Cloudia Devil May Cry collab on now. That is the info we got from this video. Now, normally I would like to transition into Tweaks' unit graphic summary, but we know he's on vacation. He's actually going to be missing the Power Creep podcast as of now tomorrow, so I need to figure out a plan to solo carry that for a change. And it also means that that graphic does not exist since he can't make it, so I'm gonna do what I do and do a little jank calculation to see what the damage numbers are looking like for this Nero, because they are kind of confusing upon initial glance. So give me a moment. We'll do a little transition and see what these numbers are looking like. Here we are in Buda's janky spreadsheet. Broke down what I think is all-encompassing of what comes in Shift Nero's kit. You can see I started with the base cap of 9,999. Looking at the trait 1, we're looking at the 100 hit combo mark because I think that's where we can just make easier assessments of where this guy's damage is going to lie. At that minimum 100 hits, we know his lower limit is boosted to a minimum of 10,000, between 10 and 20. So we are looking at that 10 and 20 right here. With Devil Trigger, that doubles, so that becomes 20 and 40. And then we have Decide, so giving him the appropriate anti-damage is another 2,000 cap. Sword Mega Boost 2,000, Fire Mega Drive 2,000, and Fire Attack Raise 3, another 2,000. So just looking at everything besides Devil Trigger, looking at the 100 hit combo minimum, you've got 27,999 cap, we'll just say 28k, and that can range up to 38k with that upper limit cap boost that he gets. With Devil Trigger, those numbers jump from 38k minimum to 48k. And remember, this is a dual wield unit, guys. Now, the combo hits and the speed of his attacks determine the true DPS, but regardless, that S1 looked pretty quick. If it has a bunch of stocks, that's going to feel really cool. I mean, this is a very nice range for a dual wield unit, regardless if you're hitting the lower end or the upper end, right? But you can just use something, other units in your party to get up to that 100 hit combo, because remember, the hit combo meter is not determined by one single unit. It's your entire team's hit output. And then I did want to include the absolute minimum and how it's calculated without any boosts at all. Nero's starting at 1,800, but that's not the number you're going to see, because remember, I'm assuming every single hit is going to contribute to that minimum damage cap getting boosted. So that is at very base going to look like 100x, right? If he gets 10,000 damage cap minimum at 100 hits, I'm assuming every hit is going to be 100, just 10,000 divided by 100. That might be wrong. It's just what I'm assuming. So every hit, right, like your hit 1, it will be 18,000, hit 2 will be 18,100, and it will just go up as the combo meter increases, is what I'm anticipating. So this is the little graphic of Nero's damage cap output that I'm to be expecting, and I mean all of this from 28k to 48k being his range. If we're just looking at minimum to max, I think that's going to look pretty good. For endgame players, you're going to have a lot more strategies to get to that 100 hit combo much more quickly than a new player who doesn't have proper SCT regeneration abilities, will have to rely on just the natural recharging rate of skills. It's not going to feel great. But for an endgame player using Pirate's Feast on Wave 2, if you have Council of 10, things like El Dravana, using that Arc skill, getting to 100 hit combo, and then continuing off of Nero's skills right out of the gate, there are definitely different ways to get to that 100 hit combo, I'd say very, very easily as an endgame player with the tools needed. It's just about closing that gap between new player and endgame and knowing what to expect. So, gonna be another very fun endgame player toy. I'm telling you that. I think that S1 is gonna be his bread and butter, but a unit with a lot of potential I can see. So while I think the range of damage output's gonna throw a lot of people off, it's just not gonna feel good. Consistency always feels better than the RNG weirdness. So I think it's going to throw many players off. It's going to give him a bad taste in a lot of new or casual players' mouths. But for a unit that I could mess with the tools that I have, I'm very excited. I'm definitely going to get him. Looking forward to it because the views on these videos is just crazy. I'm not skipping out on it. Do I think he's a must pull? No. This is a element locked unit. While he does seem to have great damage potential, he has the temporary super armor you can get. I don't see anything that's like convenience incarnate like Bayland. I think Trishul is going to be very, very desirable on him unless you're fighting enemies that are neutral or weak to fire. And just because of that, he becomes a much more of a hassle of a unit to build nowadays compared to these no attribute units that they're just throwing at us like candy every single update, it seems. Of course, we have to wait until in-game testing is done, which seems like your boy Buddha is going to have to take on the mantle. I mean, Tweaks will still be doing it over in the freaking wherever he's vacationing at, but I'll be DMing him for sure, seeing what you guys think in Discord, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm going to wrap up the video. Biggest shout out to the Buddha fam. I see those numbers steadily climbing. I have a goal to get 1,000 Buddha fam members. I believe we can do it. $2 a month to keep your boy Buddha off the streets. Thank you so much to everyone who has hit the recurring membership button. Hit that join below to see the nice little trailer I've got in store for you if you haven't seen it yet. like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications if you're new so you don't let the algorithm tell you when to watch my videos. And with all that being said, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play hard. See you in the next video.